Thank you for watching this short YouTube video. And for those who don't know me, I'm Brother Sean, also known as the Barefoot Franciscan Monk. Because I am a Franciscan monk, but I'm an independent. In other words, I'm not controlled by any known religious family. Though I was a Catholic nursing monk for a number of years and a qualified nurse for 38 years. So in 2007, I took a leap of faith. Finally, I took that leap of faith and returned to the cosmic Christ. But the saboteur within, which is the theme of this short video, had blocked me for a number of years, had filled my head with so much nonsense. And I remember, as well as anything in my life, that in that year 2007, in fact it was May 2007, when I returned from running a 7-day guided retreat to a large group of women on the shores of the Red Sea, embracing the feminine energies of Magdalena to try and balance the energies in Jerusalem, the heart chakra of the world, the birthplace of the Abrahamic faith, because as you know only too well, the energies coming from the birthplace of the Abrahamic faith, right in the center of Jerusalem, it's a strong male energy. But when I returned, I contracted a virus, obviously to do with something I picked up in Egypt. And that laid me low for 6 months, where I had great difficulty walking. But the Supreme had other plans for me, because I was running away, because within me there was a saboteur on the loose. Oh yes, because I knew in my heart that though I left the monastic life and the Catholic Church for that matter in 1974, I always had a love of God, but not a love of living in community with other monks, because I found it so distressing to see how brother monks treated one another, especially those in positions of authority who were supposed to be the shepherd of that community. I witnessed such atrocities, but not all communities are like that. But I guess I've matured now somewhat, and when I look back I realized I was so naive and obviously insecure. But coming full circle, here I am, finally following my heart and facing the saboteur that prevented me from experiencing happiness, internal happiness, because my mind was very much influenced by those negative voices that I called the saboteur, the destructible one, because I convinced myself that God wanted me to return to the monastic life in the Catholic Church, and it made me so ill, the thought of it, having spent 12 years in therapy to overcome my own woundedness from that experience as a nursing monk. But hey, on the eve of the 8th of December 2007, a significant date for me, because it was the 8th of December 1966 when I was received as a novice, and on the same day, the 8th of December 1968, I was ordained a professed monk. So every year I would celebrate that day as a special day when I dedicated my life to God. And then I thought it would be for life, but of course we mature, we grow up, and we realize that it's not always what we convince ourselves of, is it? We often fool ourselves into believing that the fields on the other side of the hill are greener than the fields we're actually in. But at 12 midnight, at the stroke of 12, I surrendered my heart eventually, having struggled in my mind. And the voice I heard was, I never let you go. I never let you go, you are mine. And I wept bitter tears because I realized that I had denied myself an opportunity to find that eternal peace in the arms of the beloved. But all is not lost. But I would share this with you about the cosmic Christ and Magdalena. There is an inner voice that speaks to us, but many don't hear that inner voice because their life is caught up in other dramas. And the new kid on the block, materialism, prevents one from surrendering one's heart. Is that where you're at today? Well, if so, I would certainly have a chat with your inner voices that are not of the light, that are destructible voices, that have a negative impact on you hearing the inner voice of the cosmic Christ speak to your heart and embrace the I am presence within you. You have a duty of care to yourself. You have a duty of care to your heart, to your soul, and to your spiritual path, and I'm not here to dictate to you. That's not why I'm here. I'm sharing a part of my story, hopefully that it will empower you. Come back to your heart. Christ consciousness is heart consciousness. It's not mind consciousness, it's not an academic consciousness. It's a heart consciousness that has become reawakened by the Supreme, the Father, Mother, God, who created all of us as God's children. And if we are God's children and we all worship the same God by a different name, then that makes you and me brother and sister, doesn't it? Surrendering your heart can be quite a difficult challenge. I know it was for me because my mind convinced me that God was calling me back to the church, and I had nightmares. I couldn't settle. And that went on for many years, but eventually I heard the inner voice say, I am not asking you to return to that way of life where many are locked in a mindset of fear and guilt. I'm calling you to embrace my love here where you are. Just surrender your heart to mine and I will protect you. I will care for you. I will support you. But are you willing to trust? So I took a deep breath and I went for it. What had I to lose? I'd lived a pretty miserable life since leaving the church because I was so racked with guilt and fear and anger. But now I'm not. Now I am at peace. And the God that I love is not like the God I knew in the monastery. That God was a God of fear. The God I love now is a God who is a compassionate one, who respects me as a child of God and who meets all my needs. And I have come to know the cosmic Christ and the beloved Magdalena. And I know they're here with me now. I don't need to see them. I'm aware of them. And their voice is a subtle voice. It's a voice of love. And I've encountered many souls who've almost demanded that I tell them about 2012 and its significance. But I'm guided not to by my inner voice. Why is that? Because each child of God has a duty of care to ask for oneself, because so many people today are so used to being nannied. They go into a supermarket and instead of buying one bag of sugar, they're bombarded by dozens of varieties. Isn't that so? So if you are in a place where you want to know about the Cosmic Christ and 2012, don't you think you owe it to yourself to say goodbye to the saboteur within you? Surrender your heart and ask. Ask the Cosmic Christ to show you. Ask the Cosmic Christ and Magdalena to come to you. And trust me, you'll be blown away. God bless you, and thank you.